Hello and welcome back to Music Repo, where I share lots of tips and tricks on home recording studio setup and how to improve your music making with technology. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up Zoom conference software in music mode. So if you want to teach online music lessons, run fitness classes, or set up a virtual choir or band, you need to set up Zoom properly. Otherwise, your audio stream will be choppy and your online classes or virtual musical get-togethers will not sound as good as they could. So this is a stripped down version of a video I uploaded recently where I also looked in depth at the recording hardware you might need to teach music lessons. I'll put a link below to that longer video if that's of interest, but here I'm just going to focus on the Zoom settings for music. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel so you get to see all my videos on music making with technology and home studio setup, and it would also really help me out if you gave the video a thumbs up. Just before we look at the software, for the best audio quality in Zoom, I strongly recommend you use some kind of external microphone, whether it's a USB mic or a high quality headset or an audio interface. I shan't say much about the hardware here, but you will find links below to lots of guides I've written about selecting the best studio gear. And as I go through the Zoom settings for online music applications, I've assumed you'll be using some kind of external mic. But you still need to adjust the default settings even if you're using your computer's built-in mic, so keep watching. Now let's head over to my screen and get our audio sounding amazing. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at how you use Zoom conference software in music mode. This means that if you're using Zoom for online music lessons, fitness classes, virtual choirs, orchestra, any application where music is involved, you need to make sure the settings are optimized for that music streaming. First of all, if at all possible, use your desktop computer or laptop to run your meetings or classes. Download the Zoom client for meetings onto your desktop or laptop. You navigate to zoom.us and navigate to the download section, and so get that installed. For best practice, make sure your computer is located as close as possible to your router for the best Wi-Fi signal you can get, or even better if you can, connect it up using an Ethernet cable and shut down all the other apps and notifications that you've got running in the background if you can, so that all your computer resource is concentrated on running Zoom as efficiently as possible, and also you're not going to get distracted by windows popping up and so on. Now we've got that all installed and our computer set up, let's open up the Zoom client. And when you open it up, you should come on the home screen. If you're not here, then you just need to click home here, and then you need to access the settings by clicking on this gear icon here. Okay, once you're in the settings, navigate to the audio tab here. Now this is where you select the correct speaker and microphone. Now the microphone is obviously the device that is going to transmit your speaking and playing, and the speaker is where you will hear the sound of your student or collaborators. Now at the moment I have got this set up so that I'm listening and playing through my interface, and if you remember, I've got my interface set up so that I've got my piano and my microphone going into a mixing desk that is then going to the inputs of the interface. So as I speak now, you can see that my voice is being picked up by the microphone. Now the first thing you will need to do is make sure you uncheck this box. You don't want Zoom to automatically adjust microphone volume. You want to have complete control of the volume yourself. Now, on an interface, the controls for the volume, both output and input, are done via the interface, not via the computer control panel. So you'll see here that if I try and adjust these, then they will snap back because I'll adjust the volumes on my interface. Okay, now I can just check that this is all working because obviously it's picking up the sound of my voice. If I just play my piano, okay, you can also hear the sound of my piano, so that's being picked up too. Great. So that's the first important setting. What I'm going to do now is show you what would happen if I chose my USB microphone instead as my input and output device. Now I would hear my students or collaborators through the headphones attached to my USB mic. I've got my USB mic connected, so again, that is picking up my voice. Here I can adjust the volumes for the input and output. So I need to just play with these until I've got the optimum settings, both for what I can hear and what's being transmitted. And you can test the microphone here and you can test the speaker to test the volumes. So far so good. We've unchecked that. Now let's go into the advanced settings. And this is probably the most important setting. Make sure you check this box here so that you show in meeting option to enable original sound. And if you hover over that, you'll see it says this will turn off audio enhancements such as echo cancellation and noise suppression. And that's exactly what you want it to do. Those so-called audio enhancements are great if you're running a conference in a crowded office with air conditioning fans and people banging doors and scraping chairs and so on, but they're a disaster when you're trying to stream audio. You will find the audio signal chops in and out and it just isn't the kind of good quality signal that you want. So make sure you check that box. Now, as a belt and braces thing, I like to disable the background noise, both the persistent and the intermittent here as well, so that I know that it's not going to do any playing around with the audio signal. I'm going to be transmitting exactly what I can hear in my interface or in my USB microphone. Okay, so now we've done those settings. When we begin a new meeting, we get a screen that looks like this. Always join with computer audio so that you're using your external microphone or your interface. Okay, now what you should see, this here, which says turn off original sound. When it says turn off original sound, that means that you are using the original sound from your interface or your microphone. That's exactly what you want. And you can click this down arrow here to make sure which device you're using. Now, in this case, I want to be using my interface. That's correct. So great. Now, if we go down here, next to where it says mute on this microphone, there's an upward arrow. And so you can always select a microphone and select a speaker here. You can also test your speaker and microphone, and you can also access the audio settings from within the meeting as well, so that you can go, if you've forgotten something or it doesn't seem to be quite right, you can test them out here. That is how you go about setting up Zoom for music applications of any kind. It's now possible to use the original sound if you're running Zoom on your mobile device. So you do this slightly differently. If you open up the Zoom app and go to the settings icon and then click on meetings, you'll see that you can scroll down to where it says use original sound, and you can actually turn that on so that when you're running a meeting from your mobile device, you can use that original sound setting just like you can on the desktop. That will turn off the echo cancellation and noise suppression, and you'll get a better audio stream if you do choose to use a mobile device. Don't forget to communicate these settings to your students or collaborators so that they optimize their audio settings as well, by the way. Well, I hope I've covered everything you need to know about getting started with your Zoom software and getting it optimized for audio. Remember, questions, comments, suggestions, post them below. Please do like the video and do share it if you know anyone else who might be interested, whether they're fitness instructors, online music teachers, what have you. Finally, I post videos on home recording studio setup and music making with technology, particularly aimed at beginners. So do subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.